guys, today's video is about improper fractions and mixed numbers. Now before we get into that, let's first talk about prior knowledge, stuff that we know. Let's discuss fractions. Fractions look like the following numbers: 2 9s, 6 12s, and 5 6. Now fractions are part of a whole number. So that means if it's a fraction, you have less than one whole. The top number represents the numerator and the bottom number represents the denominator. Now, having said this, let's make sure we understand what fractions are a little bit further. I'm going to use some examples of some cakes. Let's say you have a cake, right? And you're going to share 1/2 of the cake with your friend. Now, I have this cake here and I cut one out of 2 pieces and I hand it to my friend. So this is the portion I hand my friend. What is my friend going to say? That's not half. Why not? Well, what makes this piece of cake, what makes it not a fraction? Well, the reason that's not 1/2 is because the pieces are not cut evenly. In order for you to have a fraction, everything must be cut or split evenly. On the right side, I have another picture of another cake. That one is more like it. That's the one your friend's probably going to take because your friend can take either this one or your friend can take this piece. It doesn't matter. Why does it not matter? Because they are split or cut evenly. So, in correct terms, the cake on the right hand side is a fraction and the one on the left hand side is not. So please keep that in mind. Fractions are part of a whole. Okay, that means it's less than 1. And another thing we got to keep in mind is that fractions are cut into even pieces, just like division. Now there are different types of fractions. We have the proper fractions that look like this, and then we have what's called improper fractions. Now think about the word improper right here. When you're doing something proper, that means it's correct. When it's improper, that means you're doing something that's not correct. So if I give you an example of a fraction like I just did a few seconds ago, I have 4/9. That is proper. That is correct. Okay, because the little guy is on top of the big guy. Okay, the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Let's say we go to a concert, for example. Okay, I have my husband and my son who's 7. If my son can't see the concert, what would be proper? Would it be proper for dad to carry his son on his shoulder or for the son to carry daddy on his shoulder? Well, the proper thing to do is for daddy to carry the son on the shoulder, right? The big guy carries the little guy, just like as a fraction. This big guy, the 9, is carrying the smaller number, the 4. That is proper. Now, let me give you a few examples of an improper fraction. The following numbers are improper fractions because in this case, the little guy, you see 99? He's carrying the big guy, 311. That's not how it should go, correct? All right, so same thing, look at the second example. The 9 is carrying the 20. Not good, that's improper. The 8 is carrying the 25. Not good, that's improper. Here's a picture to help you, remember what an improper fraction and a proper fraction is. Let's look at what should be correct, what's proper. Okay, now would it be the one on the right side or the left side? Which one of these is proper? That's easy. The one on the left, because here you see the big guy carrying the smaller guy. You see that? That is called a proper fraction. All right, an improper fraction is this one on the right hand side. the little guy is carrying the big guy. That's not good, okay? So right now we're just quickly discussing terminology. Improper fraction is the one on the right because the little guy is carrying the big guy. A proper fraction is the one on the left because the big guy is carrying the little guy, as it should be. Another type of fraction that we have are called mixed numbers. Mixed numbers look just like the name suggests. They're mixed. You have a whole number and a fraction. Whole number and a fraction. Whole number and a fraction. They are mixed, okay, with whole numbers and fractions. Anytime you have a whole number and a fraction, they're called mixed numbers. These here are really, really easy. So let me give you another quick example of another mixed number. Let's do 11 and 2/4. That is a mixed number. Well, what makes this a mixed number? Well, you have your whole number and you have your fraction. Now, before we go any further, let's make sure you get the simple facts of fractions. All right, I'm going to write a couple of numbers. I have 4/7, 3 1/5, and I have 9/2. All right, well, let's start with the first one. What is this one called? Is it proper, mixed, or improper? Well, this one here is called a proper fraction. Okay, let's move on to the second one. 3 1/5. What is this one called? Is it called a mixed number, an improper fraction, or a proper fraction? Well, that one is called a mixed number. The reason it's called a mixed number, remember, because you have a whole number and a fraction. And lastly, I have 9/2. What kind of fraction is this called? This is called an improper fraction. Remember, guys, you have the little guy, he's carrying the big guy. And that's not right. That's improper. So the question now is, how do I fix this problem? How do I turn an improper fraction into a proper fraction? Well, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn the improper fraction into a mixed number. I'm going to use the same example, 9/2. Okay, now this is an improper fraction. That's not good. It's bad. So I'm going to ask you to get mad. We are going to fix the situation by dividing. Remember earlier in the video we discussed the numerator is the number on top and the denominator is the number at the bottom. All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to divide. So I have my division sign here. Numerator starts with an N. It goes on the inside. I'm going to repeat myself one more time. Numerator starts with the letter N. It goes on the inside. So the numerator will always go on the inside. Denominator obviously has to go on the outside. All right, well, let's divide. 2 can go into 9 4 times. And 2 times 4 is 8. I have a remainder of 1, but I'm dealing with fractions. So what I suggest that you do is, we're not going to put remainders. We're going to bring down the denominator, and my answer becomes 4 1/2. Okay, this is my final answer. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to give you a couple more examples, but keep in mind, guys, remember at the beginning, our problem was 9/2. This poor guy here, he was so tired for carrying the 9, we had to help him. So he was carrying too much weight. So what we did was we divide it. Numerator starts with an N, it goes on the inside, denominator on the outside. Let's try another one. Let's try 7/4. All right, in this case, same scenario. I have the little guy carrying the big guy. So this guy here, he's real tired. He needs help because he's carrying too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide. The rules are going to stay the same, guys. Numerator starts with an N. It goes on the inside. Denominator on the outside. All right, let's go ahead and divide. 4 can go into 7 one time, one whole time. I'm sorry, I'm already giving away the answer. Okay, 7 minus 4. All right, I have a remainder of 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down the denominator. Bring denominator down. All right, and my final answer is 1 3/4. Now look at the denominator, guys. The 4. Now it's carrying a 3. He feels so much better. He can carry that. Let's try one more just for extra practice. Okay, here I have 6/3. Same situation. The little guy is carrying the big guy. How do we fix the problem? We're going to divide. Numerator starts with an N. It goes on the inside. Denominator on the outside. Now, 3 can go into 6 2 whole times. 3 times 2 is 6. In this case, guys, do I have a remainder? No, I don't. So my answer is just 2 wholes. Nothing else. Just 2 wholes. All right? Now let's go ahead and move on so we can turn mixed numbers into improper. This time I'm going to start off with a mixed number. Let's do 2 1/5. Now this is a mixed number because you have your whole number and your fraction. Y'all remember that? All right. So what I'm going to do is rewrite that number, 2 1/5. Okay. And we're going to turn it into an improper fraction. What we're going to do is do something called around the world. All right. So we're going to go this way. And then we're going to go that way. Let's fill in the blanks. What we're going to do here is we're going to do 5 times 2. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10, and then I'm going to add 1. Y'all see the operations? Okay, 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11, and the denominator is going to stay the same. Super easy. Let's try another one. Let's do 3 and 2. Well, let me spread it out a little bit. Let's do 3 and 2/3. All right, I'm going to go around the world. Same procedure. All right, I'm going to go that way, and then I'm going to go this way. Now, let's do it. 3 times 3. Y'all see that multiplication sign here? 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 2, here's my operation, is 11. Denominator stays the same. Let's try a couple more. All right, let's try 7 1/4. All right, we are going to go this way and then this way. Notice how it makes the operation. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 plus 1 is 29. Denominator stays the same. Let's try another one. Let's do 3 2/5. Same direction. We're going to go around the world this way and then that way. All right, 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. Denominator stays the same. All right, well, let's quickly discuss this, guys. Let me work with this one here. 3 2/5 equals 17/5. How can I check to make sure that it's correct? Well, this one is called an improper fraction, correct? Because I have the little guy carrying the big guy. So that's improper. How do we fix it? We divide. Numerator starts with an N. It goes on the inside. Denominator goes on the outside. So let's go ahead and try it. 5 can go into 1, 0. 5 can go into 17 3 times. And 5 times 3 is 15. I have a remainder of 2. Bring down your denominator. So my answer is 3 2/5. Look over here. Isn't that what I said from the very beginning? 3 2/5 is equal to 17/5. So all we did was change the way it looked, but the value stays the same. Now you go ahead and try just a couple, okay? So here's your first one. Turn this improper fraction into a mixed number, 19/3 and 8/5. All right? Again, improper fraction. Why is it called an improper fraction? Because the little guy is carrying the big guy. How do we turn an improper fraction into a mixed number? We divide. Numerator starts with an n, it goes on the inside. And then go ahead and turn these mixed numbers into improper fractions. 4 1/2 and 5. Let's make it 7/8. All right, go ahead and turn those mixed numbers into improper fractions. How do we do that? Go around the world. Multiply and then add. Denominator stays the same. Good luck, guys.